Welcome to the session 6, Conceptualizing the Scenario and the Complexity. Last week we did the session 5, which was on the establishing the dilemma. The purpose of this program is to enhance executive capability and decision making skills with in company case studies. This is being brought to you by METL Global Perspectives, www.metl.in. Conceptualizing the case. The way to write the case has to be conceptualized at this juncture. The protagonist has been interviewed and the dilemma established. While conceptualizing, a case writer has to understand the situation and demonstrate adequate level of understanding. A case is very high on the learning taxonomy, the Blooms Taxonomy that all instruction designers follow. It deals with analysis and synthesis level, and all information and case literature must correspond to those levels. A case is not about the knowledge, understanding, or application levels. A practice document is at that level. In fact, an outstanding case can work on the highest level of creation and evaluation, and thus new business models or frameworks can be derived from it. Comprehending the complexity. A case writer must be able to comprehend the inherent complexity and capture it in the case. One who cannot comprehend the scenario, the difficulty that the protagonist faced, will not be able to do justice to the case. For instance, if the case writer is not an engineer or worked as one, they would find it difficult to write a case on engineering design that resolved a safety hazard or a seemingly insignificant technological innovation that gave rise to a new business opportunity. Similarly, someone who does not understand pharma business would find it difficult to write a compelling case on new formulation that R&D got right and got it approved, but the manufacturing team finds it difficult to produce. A case writer with poor appreciation of financial risk might consider those in the bottom of the pyramid unbankable, while evidence suggests otherwise. However, this is what makes case writing an intense learning exercise for the case writer too, if the case writer is able to learn all these things and overcome all the shortcomings that he or she has. My appeal to the case writer here is do not dilute the case situation. Very often I have seen case writers reduce the complexity of the situation to their own levels of understanding. This defeats the entire purpose. A technical challenge being worked upon and resolved within time constraints, with everyone understanding their bit and performing at their peak in a coordinated manner, I have seen them being written as a team building instance without understanding the real complexity in it. For instance, keeping a long shaft dynamically balanced and true without using the expensive machine with a large bed is an excellent innovation and a case to write on. However, if the same is not understood correctly by the case writer, it may be reduced to a case on cost saving rather than an innovation instance. A good case, issue, and behavioral perspectives. A case can be functional, cross-functional, a general managerial situation, or a leadership scenario. For instance, a functional case can be a sales function changing from distribution-led to entirely online sales over a period of 2 years. A cross-functional scenario can be marketing and manufacturing working together to include a crucial feature that the customer wants into the product. A general managerial perspective case can be changing the business model from physical to a combination of physical and digital called phygital. And a leadership case can be acquiring companies with new capabilities that make the existing organization truly ESG compliant. When these are combined with a deep understanding of behavioral aspects, a good case evolves. Understanding the complexity. To gather understanding of the complexity, a case writer might have to undertake a visit to the location where the situation took place to gather a better perspective, discuss with all people involved in the value chain, talk to consumers, study the market analysis reports or the technology reports, try out the offering, read out about the industry and the company. All this is a part of case research, though I prefer to get it as gathering sufficient information to understand the complexity. Digging to find the complexity. At times, the complexity is not there in the situation in hand. It might be in the ownership structure of the firm that necessitates a certain degree of difficulty. A cross border or an international issue that might complicate the situation. An export or import restriction that created a very difficult situation for the organization. A case writer must be able to understand these and not brush them as irrelevant. Knowledge on how businesses run. Understanding the complexity requires the case writer to know the way businesses run, keep up to date on industry practices, and ask questions to the protagonist. As the case writer interviews several people in the firm or outside of it, they need to keep gathering insights to build the complexity. In one of the cases I was writing, to explain a situation, a protagonist told me, "The decision seems simple to you, but the process might be a lengthy one. Consider making a decision about the school you want to send your child to when you have a nuclear family, as opposed to you being in a joint family where all the children are going to a particular school, but you want to choose another one for your child." As a case writer, if I have not been in a joint family situation, I need to understand the same better. In case the protagonist appointed to you for the case writing is a very senior person in the organization, the individual might not have too much time available to explain fundamentals. In such instances, ask for someone who is more available and can fill you in with the various details. Develop the understanding of the business before going to meet the protagonist. Evolve to understand, not reduce to simplify. As a case writer, when you conceptualize a case scenario, remember to build in the adequate complexity in it. It is up to you to understand the same and do whatever needed to gather that understanding. It might so happen that you are unable to understand the complexity involved. In such a situation, the case writer has to spend more time understanding rather than going ahead with the writing process. Ask for a subject matter expert to be appointed for you. In case, do not reduce the case to your level of understanding. Check and see if you could rise up to the situation, learn a lot more, and evolve your own perspectives. Every case that I have written has taught me so much more about the people involved, about the organization, the businesses, the practices, and the way they do their work. So, at the end of writing a case, as a case writer, you would have also learned a lot. If you have not learned a lot, that means there is a gap in your understanding or the complexity, or something is missing. Questions? In the case that you are writing, ensure that you are conceptualizing it at the analysis and synthesis levels. Remember the Bloom's Taxonomy that we have talked of earlier. Identify the complexity and understand it entirely. Discuss the same with the protagonist as it might require additional information to be brought out in the case. Build the complexity in the first para that you have written in the subtopics. Message me your queries and I'll try to revert as soon as I can. You can reach me at sogata@metl.in. The next week, which is the 7th session that we go into, we will be talking about writing the case plot. Till then, happy case writing and enjoy the whole experience.